Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Young here and welcome to a Metal Gear Solid 5 news update. Today IGN released an interview with Hideo Kojima talking about his current project Metal Gear Solid 5. While most of the information treads familiar ground, there are still some interesting tidbits that Kojima shared. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. The interview began with Kojima talking about what Ground Zeroes is exactly, stating once again that it acts as a prologue episode to the Phantom Pain. He stated that Metal Gear fans may find themselves confused and overwhelmed when stepping into the huge world of the Phantom Pain without some kind of precursor, so Ground Zeroes acts as that first step in between, since its main purpose is to ease players into the Phantom Pain's vast open world structure. Ground Zeroes will be much more controlled and compact. Unfortunately, Kojima did not say whether Ground Zeroes would be sold together or separately. He then proceeded by talking about how much the open world structure changes the Metal Gear formula and its development process. For past games, Kojima and his team expected players to tackle their more linear games in a certain way, and this was achieved by placing enemies in specific locations. But now, enemies are no longer stuck in one location, now having access to the entirety of the game's open worlds, which means that players can be unexpectedly spotted from any direction, 360 degrees around them. This is part of the reason why features like the new lens flare indicator was included. Playtest sessions often found that players would not know where they were spotted from without the feature, which is why Kojima felt it was necessary to add subtle hints telling players from which angle they were spotted from. The same goes for the game's new bullet time feature, which essentially grants players a second chance if they manage to take advantage of the sparse few seconds. Like the lens flare feature, it serves to make up for the game's much higher chance of detection from its open world structure and the smarter, more random AI. Now, it's no news that some of these features have raised concerns amongst fans of the franchise that the game would be dumbed down, but in the interview with Hideo Kojima, he guaranteed that these features would not make the game much easier, as many are suspecting. The open world structure of the game really shakes up the Metal Gear formula, and these new features that Kojima is introducing serve to balance out the ramifications of the new open world structure. The next topic of conversation revolved around how Kojima is approaching development. He states that he doesn't linger in the past by asking questions like, "Where did I go wrong?" or "What can I do to improve past projects?" Rather, he stays in the present by simply asking himself, "What do I want to do now?" and strives to make that happen. This time, he wanted to make a Metal Gear Solid game that would deviate from linearity and give it new life by introducing the concept of open world to allow players to plan and execute their own operations rather than having the game hold their hand all throughout. He also stated that he wants to make a game that can be interacted with from anywhere, further hinting at the game's integration with devices like smartphones and tablets. And last but not least, Kojima talks about his preference of developing Metal Gear games based around Naked Snake rather than Solid Snake, for the simple fact that Naked Snake has a more human side to him, showing more emotions. Solid Snake, on the other hand, is a more subdued individual, part of the reason being that he's a clone and not fully human. But regardless of which character he develops a game for, Kojima expresses that he's surprised that he's still here despite contemplating many times making his current project the last game he'd work on. Now, what's funny is that he says that the reason he's working with Naked Snake more than Solid Snake recently is because he enjoys the former's more human side, rather than stating something like Solid Snake's saga is complete and I've already told everything I need to tell about that particular character. He almost seems to be hinting at not being completely done with Solid Snake, so perhaps we haven't seen the last of him. Maybe we'll see him in Metal Gear Solid 5, and maybe far in the future we will get those remakes of Metal Gear 1 and 2 that fans of the franchise have been craving for. Regardless, I am confident that we haven't seen the last of Solid Snake. Anyways, that is it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to let our nation know in the comments below your thoughts on the new direction that Kojima's taking the franchise with Metal Gear Solid 5. And to be further updated on Metal Gear Solid 5, be sure to join the nation and subscribe to Young Year. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much, and Young out!